Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. In this video today, I'll be telling you how to hack your fight and flight response, okay? Now, generally what happens is we perceive any change in our life with a threat, okay? And our ego is not our amigo when it comes down to this. So take any task, let's say, that puts you in a state of procrastination, anxiety, or fear. And I want you to notice when you get distracted because that distraction is there to protect you. It's there to keep you where you are, right? It's there to not help you to change, essentially. So here's a way in this video to hack it. What I want you to do is you have a big goal, you have a big task. Now I want you to do the smallest and tiniest incremental step towards that task. So tiny, so microscopic that it would seem impossible not to do it. It's that easy. It's that easy. That's the task that I want you to move in. So let's say that you wanted to lose weight. Okay, what can you do in that sense? Drink more water, okay? Have an extra glass of water that day. Okay, at least that was going to build momentum. Whatever it is, it's putting energy in that direction. You are going to get this hesitation, that resistance coming up again and again, but just know that that's a protective mechanism, which means that your ego and your body just cares about you, right? It wants you to feel protected, but it's not the safest mechanism all the time. This is why to hack that, you chunk it into a very, very tiny piece and you create a stacking winning streak from there, okay? So the micro commitments. Let me give you an example, okay? So let's say that you want to do some kind of a workout and you're not really getting that momentum, but you notice the procrastinating thought in your mind. So you do a tiny step, right? What's a really tiny step? You put on a shoe. You put on your gym shoe. You tie your shoe. What do? You put on the other shoe. You tie your shoe. Okay, now you take a few steps with the shoe. All right. So what you're doing is you're putting into motion, like your body chemistry already knows that, okay, I gotta put on the shoe, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It already knows what to do. So if you just start taking the little steps, it's going to go into autopilot mode and just and do it. All right? Because as you're doing it, you're not worried about anything. You're like right before you do it. It's the same when I take a cold shower, right? Right before I want to do it, absolute resistance. No, no, no. I don't want to do it. Absolutely press eject right now. But if you get used to that feeling, you'll get used to people's obscene comments about you, rejections, auditions that you didn't make, whatever it is, right? These little instances or little mishaps or stressful memories or moments that happen throughout the day, they're nothing compared to that frog you ate in the morning, essentially, right? The Brian Tracy method of eat the frog. Okay, now another way to do this is to build your awareness, okay? Awareness is such an important tool that we miss out on it a lot of times, especially right now. There's so much panic going around that a lot of people feed into the narrative of the panic. Okay, I want you to go from panic to pranic and focus on how you are breathing throughout the day. Are you breathing from your belly and through your nose, or are you breathing very quick, fast-paced, and shallow through your chest? So notice that when you have that procrastinating thought, just label it, okay? When you label something, you take power over it, okay? When you categorize something, you're not as overwhelmed by that thing because you've labeled it. You've basically said to your mind, like, I understand what's going on. I see behind the facade and the screens. I see behind the veil of illusion of what is happening backstage. So when you can say to yourself, oh, this is the thought about the procrastination that I get. If you have an ex, you can be like, oh, this is the thought of Julie that I'm getting right now. If it's some kind of a memory or a mini trauma, oh, this is the thought of that mini trauma that I had. Okay, and notice when it's repeating. Oh, this is the thought that gets triggered when I think about blank. What you're doing essentially is you're labeling. You're like stamp, 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 stamp. You're labeling the thoughts, and now you're taking power over it because you're much more conscious, much more aware of it, and now you have control over the thoughts, and it's not this kind of autopilot negative system that's happening. Jim Quick calls these ants, right? Automatic negative thoughts. You got to squash those ants. The way you do that is through that labeling process of being like, oh, you got to become metacognitive, right? Thinking about thinking. When you get into that metacognition, you like have, basically, you're the puppet master now behind the strings of your mind. So once you recognize that, like, oh, this is the thought that gets triggered when blank. Oh, this is the thought that comes up when I'm doing blank. Or this is the thought where I get annoyed at this thing. This is the thought of anger. And once you start labeling them, you start to characterize these thoughts, right, as little tidbits, right? They're just little streams of data in the mind. So they're just little, let's say, Wi-Fi signals, right? Just, and they're very temporary, and they're just going through this experience like clouds in the sky. And if you can just observe those thoughts and label them, like, oh, that cloud is shaped like a bird, or that cloud is shaped like a parrot, then you can just be like, oh, they're just clouds, though. You know what I mean? And the importance you place on the clouds and the justification you place on the clouds gets you to really start to identify with it. And that's the real issue, is we start to identify as a worrier, right? We say, oh, I'm the kind of person that worries all the time, instead of thinking of the worry. Like, what if worry was something outside of you and the worry was speaking to you? You see what I'm saying? Like a character would say something. What would the worry tell you? Well, the worry would tell me that I'm not good enough. Well, the worry would tell me that that's not going to work out. And what's special about that worry, right? Why do I need to worry? What is it doing for me? How does it serve my storyline? So really getting clear about these thoughts, right, and being able to externalize this. This is used in narrative therapy, okay? So if you guys have ever heard of this or looked into this, basically it uses a process of deconstruction, okay, externalization, and basically what it's saying is, we don't have problems. We just have perceptions of storylines in our life that create problems for us. Okay, now if you can really deeply look at this, it's going to transform your life, right? You could watch this one video, take this little nugget of wisdom, and then completely transform your life. But then there are others, they're like, oh, I've heard this before, or whatever, man, it's just a YouTube guy on the video telling me this thing. But then the real people will watch this video, take this golden nugget, and be like, how can I transform my life through this one basic factoid that I've learned? Implementation is so important, and that's why you need implementation velocity. That's why hiring a mentor is also so important. Now, I'm not plugging myself as a mentor. Hire anybody you choose. However, I've worked with thousands of clients around the world with similar issues of how they can hijack this fight or flight system and get into that compassion, that mindfulness, that state. Okay, I'm going to show you guys an incredible diagram, okay, that I found. I want you to look at this because this is ultimately so powerful. Okay, look at this. Okay, so we have freeze up here. This is dorsal vagal. Okay, fight or flight down here. That's the sympathetic. We forget at times because it's like we think sympathetic is to do with sympathy. And so it's the nice one. No, sympathetic is actually the fight or flight. Parasympathetic is the one which is rest and digest. So we have the sympathetic, and then below that, if you notice this, we have the ventral vagal, which is social engagement. Hello? Hello, McFly? Is anybody home? This is so powerful, guys, okay? Curiosity, openness, joy in the present, groundedness, mindful, compassion. This is all flow state, right? Connection, safety, oriented to the environment. Stop being so self-conscious and start becoming other-conscious. That's going to relax you out. That's going to mellow you out. Instead of thinking, oh, I wonder how my hair looks today. Is it all right? Think about, oh, that person's hair looks pretty cool. All right, flip it. Flip it. When you're going internal, go whoosh, shine the light outwards. Instead of thinking, oh, I wonder if this is okay internally, think, oh, that tree looks so awesome out there. Look at the birds in the sky. Okay, this is another hack, okay? Now, I have many techniques like this that hijack and hack your neurology and physiology so it can work for you. Your life can work for you, not against you. You got to know the codes to break out of the matrix. And I have a lot of those codes. Okay, I'm not going to give you all of these in this video right here, but I'm going to give you some little, light bulb moments. And that's what I do with these videos. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you. You guys got to join the Flow Telegram group. I'm telling you right now, we're doing incredible things. Okay, we're doing incredible things. You gotta join that group if you haven't done so. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. See you guys next time.